Improvising on guitar is hard. Anyone who tells you any different has probably never tried. Even if you've seen these absolutely amazing jazz guitarists that just get up there and they hear a chord progression for the first time and they just go. And you're like, how did they do that? Well, first of all, there's only so many who can really do a cold improvisation off just a random chord progression that someone plays. But in addition, you have to realize that they've been doing this for years, and they've already got a huge catalog of themes and riffs and concepts so that when they hear a chord progression, they can just kind of jump into it. It's not an easy thing to do. In fact, the truth is it takes years and years of practice. When I was first trying to learn how to improvise over backing tracks, I would play them over and over again, and I would noodle around until I found a theme I kind of liked, and then I would slowly expand on it. And eventually, after doing it 20, 30, 40, 100, 150 times, I would be like, wow, I can kind of improvise over this. But I'm not really improvising, am I? I mean, I've had to practice it hundreds of times in order to improvise over it. Well, guess what? That's normal. That's any time you hear a really good guitarist who can just go out there and shred over a backing track, they've practiced. And they've practiced a lot. They have hundreds of hours into it. In fact, if you really wanted to ask me what the ultimate secret to playing guitar is, it's really just playing. Playing a lot over and over again for hours and hours and years. However, the good thing about the chair system is I do think it's going to cut that time for you, because you're going to be able to get to the point of understanding context a lot faster than a lot of people. Let me show you kind of what I mean. When you're starting out and you're learning the boxes, you're not sure what the context of all those notes are. You're not sure how to repeat that exact same phrase somewhere else and build on it and move. Whereas with the chair system, as I showed you in the last episode, it's significantly easier. You know where your root is. You know how to get back to your root. And you know how to find your next root. And so what we're going to start on today is not just noodling. Again, like I've said before, noodling is not bad. Noodling is a great way to find themes, to find ideas, to find musical ideas that you can use in your piece. But they're not really improvising, because improvising has a purpose, and I'm going to show you how to find that purpose. So now, when you approach one of these chairs, I want you to pick a note. Now, for the moment, it should probably be the major root. We haven't talked about that much, but the very first note in your chair is going to be the major root, and the very last note is going to be the minor root of that chair. Right now, don't get hung up on that, just use the major root. And what I want you to do is just start and end on that root. So in other words, you start out on any root, and you can just do that. Now remember last time we went over the triad? Well, that's going to be a little tricky, but let's just use the fifth a little bit. Remember, the fifth is this note right here. And it's going to be that exact same note on every single chair. So, what I want you to do is just come up with one simple theme. It can be my theme, it can be any theme. That was just the root, the seventh. This is the second, and back to the root. And then what I want you to do is expand on it. I want you to do that exact same theme, but just a little bit differently. Now you don't always have to end on the same root. You can end on the next root. You can use all the notes in a chair, or you can just use one or two notes. But just start out on that root and play around. And this will start to teach you what soloing really is, or what, should I say, improvisation really is. You're starting on the root and you're coming back to the root. Now, obviously, you're not always going to do that. You're going to learn to start and end on your third, on your fifth. You're going to do all kinds of interesting things, but this is just a really good starting point. Play up and down all three of these. You can also use the extra notes we've learned, the bridges. You can do this any way you want, but just play around on it. You can come all the way down to here if you like. Now don't try to make them that complicated. I don't want you to use too many notes in it. I really want you to keep this simple. But I'm just showing you that you can do it any way you want. Again, using all of the notes in the chair, or just one or two. One or two is actually probably pretty good to get you going. But in the next lesson, we are going to expand on this. We are going to show you some of the, well, even more interesting things that you can do. But hopefully this will get you started on the road to improvisation. My name is Jeb Sherrill, and I will see you on the next one.